Razorback and SEC fans, don't forget to check out the Pig Trail Network Patreon page. Only $4 a month, which goes towards supporting the YouTube channel. You can find the Patreon link down below any PTN video in the description box. If you'd rather make a one-time donation, that is also located in the description box as well. Thank you for all of your support, and of course, woo pig suey. Have you read these? I'm sure most of you have at least skimmed over a lot of the content in here. You know, Phil Still, Lindy's, Athlon, what do they have in common? They all have Arkansas near the bottom of the SEC West. Are they right? Are they wrong? I don't know. Welcome. This is the Pig Trail Network. I'm its host and creator, Tyzel83. I hope everything is good in your part of the world. However you are, wherever you are, welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. If you guys would, at the end of the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't forget the notification bell and all that. These magazines, all of them, preseason websites, the folks that, you know, during the SEC media days, everyone is picking Arkansas to finish last. Why is that? Maybe you don't have time to consume all of that. You don't have time to read all these magazines, watch ESPN and SEC Network, or listen to local sports talk radio. I've literally had some of you message me and say, you are like 75% of my Razorback content. What I don't read on Twitter, I come here. And I want to thank you for that, but and I get it. I don't make real long videos. This video might be a little longer than normal. But let's consolidate just some of the things. Not all of these are what I've heard. Some of this is what I believe to be the case, why people think Arkansas is so bad and why they're going to be bad in 2018. So, but let's start off with kind of the things that we're hearing around us from everybody. The most common thing that everyone in the media believes about Arkansas, or what they're saying about Arkansas. And so, I consolidated. I made it into a tasty little sandwich. We're just slapping on every layer here, okay? Chad Morse, it was not exactly a super sexy hire, okay? The guy went 14-22. His best year at SMU was 7 wins in 3 years. Okay, and he was only at SMU for 3 years. And, again, he didn't do a whole lot. The only thing he really gets credit for is, A, turning a 2-3-star athlete into a second-round draft pick at SMU, and what he was able to do as the OC at Clemson, what he was able to do with some of the quarterbacks and things there, you know, and help transition their offense into something better. But that's not enough right now. The media believes, you know, what have you done for me lately, and what he did at SMU to them. They don't always dive in and, you know, open the trunk and look at all the nonsense that's back there, right? They don't know that what he had to fight with. He didn't even have a tight end on campus when he took over at SMU, for crying out loud. And you look at what he did offensively. Yeah, he did some things offensively. He was able to get them into to being a pretty good offense. But at the end of the day, he wasn't winning games, and that's what they don't like. Again, that 14-22 overall is not sexy to the media. So that's right now. It's a minus. It's not a positive. It's a minus for most of these folks. The talent gap. This is a big one because Arkansas, what's funny is they finished nationally. It's respectable where they finish nationally. They're typically a top 25, top 35 recruiting. It's where they typically finish. There are teams middle of the pack in the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the ACC and the all the other Power Fives that would love to be in that situation where you're top 25, top 35 recruiting every year. Now we know the 2018 class, the 2018 recruiting class, they only brought in 17 players. They could only recruit 17. And so therefore they had on paper not a very good number next to their name when you talk about recruiting rank. Typically they are a top 25, top 30 recruiting class. And again, there are plenty of middle of the road Power 5 programs out of Power 5 conferences that would love to be in that situation. But in regards to the SEC, when you compare it to the rest of this, especially the SEC West, when you compare it to the rest of the league, it's just not been very good. They've been bottom 4, bottom 3, bottom 4 almost every year in the SEC, and it just creates a gap, a talent gap. And sadly, you're in the SEC West where the best recruiting happens, where Alabama, Auburn, and LSU and Texas A&M, they just recruit well. That's one of the reasons why Ole Miss probably cheated, to try and keep up. So there's that, the talent gap. Next up, and again, these aren't in any particular order, it's the transitioning. You know, you're going from the power eye, handing the football off, out of the eye, eat up the clock, slow. And I'm going to admit it, I kind of like that football. There's nothing wrong with powerhouse football. Try to stop me if you can. We know that they kind of transitioned a little bit more into a passing attack, but they still, their DNA and everything they tried to be was a run-first program, a power run, running it out of the eye and what have you. And it just didn't work. So now they're transitioning to high-tempo football, to a little bit more spread them out, something a little bit more modern. And it's going to be, that is a transition in itself. They do have seniors. They've got some experience in certain places on offense. When you talk about, we'll get into that in a second, but there's other areas where they don't, and that matters a lot. So when you talk about the transitioning of it all, that is something you could say is a bit of a negative. It's kind of a rebuilding / transitioning season. So, yeah. Speaking of, we talked about having experience. Who is the quarterback? And is it a good thing that we may not even know, and it sounds like they're not even going to know until week 1. There's a lot of indications just from what Chad Morris has said. Now, maybe I missed something, but it sounds like they're not going to announce until they're ready to go week 1. I don't know if it's going to be Ty Story, Cole Kelly, could be John Steven Jones, could be Connor Nolan, could be anybody. Dalton Hyatt, we don't know. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And again, that's another reason. I'm not saying that that's why they're going to not be successful, but this is what the media is looking at. This is what they're saying. If you go with Cole Kelly, you go with a guy who didn't exactly turn heads when he played last year. If you go with Ty Story, you worry about experience. Obviously, if you go with someone other than these two, you're probably talking about a freshman. So what is that doesn't exactly put your quarterback situation in a relatively bright spot. Another one that I'm hearing a lot is John Chavis. He just doesn't have it anymore as the DC. He can't keep up with these offenses. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not. I've stated why I think he's here, why they hired him. I do not expect Chavis to be here beyond 3 years, whether for better or for worse, whether that's because he gets fired or because, and I doubt they're going to fire the chief in 3 years, but you never know. Anything can happen. If they are absolutely horrific on defense for 3 seasons, then yeah, anything is absolutely possible. But I don't see that happening, knock on wood. But that is a lot of what you're hearing is folks believe that because he wasn't able to produce a decent defense, and I'm referring to his time as the DC at Texas A&M. I'm talking about the only school in the state of Texas that's in the SEC with the talent that they have, that he was able to recruit, that he was able to bring in and mold a little bit. At A&M, they finished pretty far, especially when we talk about the talent they have on defense. They finished near the bottom. They were not good on defense, and Chavis was the DC. So people in the media just believe he doesn't have it anymore. And then there's the one thing that just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and that's the fact that they went 4-8 a year ago. It just didn't work out. So the 4-8 leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth, and I think that's my personal opinion. That's not what they're saying. I've not heard anyone say that's why. I've not heard Paul Feinbaum or anybody say, well, they're going to be bad this year because they went 4-8 a year ago. But I believe that left kind of a bad taste in the mouth of the media. And when you look back and you hear a name like Brett Bielema and the fact that he couldn't do it, what are the chances that a guy like Chad Morris, what are the chances that he comes in and he's able to do it and Brett couldn't? I don't know. And to them, it probably doesn't look good. And when you factor in all these other things that we just mentioned, the talent gap, the transitioning and everything, that 4-8 starts to look more and more like probably what you would pick Arkansas, where you'd probably pick them to finish. It's probably really easy to pick them at something like 4-8, 5-7. So that's our sandwich. That's our why the media doesn't like Arkansas in 2018 sandwich. It's an ugly-looking sandwich. It doesn't look good. It does not look good. There you go, guys. I hope you maybe now you're kind of like, no, that makes sense. If you agree or disagree, comment down below. I don't care. If you have anything to say, comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. But I do thank you for sticking around. This is a little bit longer than I typically like to make my videos. Thank you for sticking around. Remember to check out the Patreon. We got our first Patreon. I know we've already talked about that, but I'm so proud of that. Go check that out. Remember to like, comment, share the content that you just watched. If you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button. And until the next video, you guys be cool. Be kind to one another. Peace.